Hello, Days of Our Lives fans. It is finally Friday, July 5th. Please subscribe, like, and share. Well, Jada tells Rafe that, she went to see Bobby. She's going to go see him again. He's got information about a murder. Rafe's like, I don't like this. I don't want you doing this. He's just playing you. And she said, Rafe, would you be talking like this if I was a man? Investigating is my job. And he says, well, I see I'm not going to change your mind. Just be careful. So he really don't want her to go. So meanwhile, Marlena drops in on Bobby, and he's telling her, "Hey, I don't need you, so go and get out. I'm only going to talk to Jada." But he did talk to her for a few minutes, and Jada comes in, and she's like, "Look, you said you had information about a murder. I want you to give me the facts. Let's go. You didn't give me anything." He said, "Well, why don't you spring me out of here first, and we can go get a room and I'll tell you everything." And she said, "Yeah, I knew you were just going to play games." And he finally blurted out that he had information about the Li Chin murder, and that caught her attention. So Eric is saying he's on the goodbye tour. He goes and says goodbye to Nicole, and it's like a tear-jerking few minutes, man. It really is sad because we know that she is actually off the show. And he's been talking about leaving, so I'm not sure if he's going to be there after January or not. So that was pretty sad. He goes over to say goodbye to his mother, and she's like, "Paris, France, why can't you get a photography job in Missouri? Aren't there any?" She don't want him to go, but she wishes him well, and she loves him, and he tells her, "It's not just Jude, Mom. I still love Nicole. It's painful to live here." So Melinda's waiting to interview with Kristen, and this woman walks up, and she's apologizing to her for accusing her of things when Li Shin got murdered, and she told her it was just because she was jealous of her. Keep that woman in mind. Kristen shows up and says, "The best thing about being a CEO, you can arrive when you want to, and everyone else just has to suck it up." And Melinda's like, "Yeah, good perk." So they go back and forth, and Melinda's like, "I can put my feelings for you aside to do a good job." And Kristen's like, "I don't buy it. I just don't buy it." Almost like she's drunk. Kristen is a kick-ass businesswoman, but so is Melinda Trask. They talk, and then she tells her she just can't hire her. She wouldn't trust her. She'd think she's going to be stabbing her in the back every few minutes. In comes EJ. "Hello, ladies. How are things going?" So he offers Kristen his Demera shares to hire Melinda. He has given his butt away today, and he's going to lose it all. Okay, so she says, "It's a deal, Lucille. I'll call you with the contracts later." And there they are later. She goes over to the mansion to sign the contracts. Alright, so EJ is talking to Stefan. "Where's Gabby?" And he said she hadn't got back from Arizona yet. She went to visit Ariana. And they were arguing and a little bit, and Gabby walks in on them, and she overheard them talking about being blackmailed, Stefan blackmailing him. So EJ, but she didn't say anything at that moment. But EJ said, "I need you to come with me to this press conference, and build me up for getting you out, and blah blah blah." And she doesn't want to do it, but Stefan says, "Yeah, we got to do it." And she said, "I overheard you say you were blackmailing him, and I want to know what's going down, and I want to know now." Not in those exact words, but that's what she said. And he told her about the baby business, and she said, "Oh my God, now we've got EJ where we want him, and I can't wait to tell Eric that his baby's alive." And Stefan's like, "What? We can't do this. You got to keep your word. You got to keep your mouth shut. Things are going good with EJ. We got a truce." And she says, "Okay, darling, I will." But she doesn't. So they're at the press conference, and Nicole's spiffing EJ up. I always catch them with their eyes closed. And there's the new Gabby that I'm not fond of yet, talking to her brother Rafe. I just don't like her. She just seems like a sleaze. She's always trying to have sex with her husband. And EJ's up there patting his own back about how he personally took this evidence to the judge and got her released. And so she comes up to say some words, and she's thanking everybody but EJ. So Nicole pipes up and says, "Well, what did D.A. Demera have to do with you getting out?" And she said, "Oh yeah, well, he's the one that wrongly prosecuted me in the first place." And EJ's like, "What the fuck? Oh shoot, I didn't mean to say that. Excuse me, you didn't hear that." And things are starting to go south. And then she said the only reason that he let me out was he put me in for spite, but he let me out for love. And EJ's like, And she said, yeah, love for you, Nicole, because he didn't want you to know that Eric is your baby's father. He's not the father of your baby, and you still love Eric Brady, and not in that exact order. There's Stefan looking like, holy mother of God, what have you done, woman? EJ's going to ruin us. And he will. And there's EJ quickly like, what the hell am I going to do? Looking over at Nicole, who doesn't look particularly worried, because I think she's going to say something like, well, we didn't know who was the father at the beginning. I don't know what's going to go down. It looks bad for the EJ. This woman, we've seen her 2 times before. She was at the press conference. She went up to Gabby and then talking to Melinda. She is the murderer of Li Chin. She's living in the apartment. She's having a flashback. She walks up behind him, sticks a knife in his back, and there she is after she done it. She killed him out of jealousy because he chose Melinda Trask over her. That's a wrap for Friday.